founder and editor-in-chief of Morsanian, publishing company behind Global Corporate Venturing, Global University Venturing, and Global Impact Venturing. Delighted to see so many people coming back in for the afternoon session. We're really going to start with a bang. After a wonderful morning, we've got nearly 900 people registered from all around the world, and many of them are coming specifically to hear the keynotes this afternoon from Patrick Child, who's the Deputy Director General for Research and Innovation at DG RTD at the European Commission. So, Patrick, without further ado, I'll welcome you. Thanks for joining.
Well, thanks very much, James. And it's a real pleasure for me to be able to participate in this year's JPI Urban Europe Policy Conference, even if we're having to work in this challenging virtual context. And I think it's especially the case given the importance of cities in driving many of the systemic changes that we need to put in place in order to tackle the pressing challenges that Europe's facing. The upcoming Horizon Europe programme for research and innovation in Europe, and in particular the partnership that we're preparing on driving urban transitions, we believe will make a very powerful contribution to build a more sustainable future for our society. And against this background, the Urban Europe Joint Programming Initiative has been a strategic partner for the European Commission since 2010, and a valuable ally in helping us to align national research and innovation agendas and investments, thereby contributing to the genuine creation of a European research area through research and innovation activities in sustainable urban development. So to support the JPI's activity under our existing Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Framework Programme, we've been able to co-fund 6 joint calls, and we hope to build on that success in future under our next programme, Horizon Europe. And so I'd like in particular to congratulate the JPI Urban Europe for taking a strong lead in helping to steer the preparation of the future Driving Urban Transitions Partnership in a direction which we are confident will be both ambitious and effective. And I'd like really in speaking to you today to address 3 key messages. First of all, that the sort of challenges that we're facing in society today, and in particular the existential challenge of climate change, reaches beyond our planetary boundaries, and we have to act quickly and decisively to avoid the sort of irreversible consequences of climate change, biodiversity loss, and environmental degradation. I think on top of all of that, the COVID-19 pandemic has just shown us how fragile our cities, societies, and economy all are in the face of a major systemic shock. I think that cities are particularly exposed to some of these challenges. As we know, cities occupy 3% of the planet's landmass and yet consume over 65% of energy and 75% of natural resources, and contribute, unfortunately, to more than 70% of global CO2 emissions. And we believe that the land occupied by cities in the developing world may triple by 2050. And I think all these figures show that cities have a very strong impact on and are strongly influenced by the different strands of the European Green Deal, which, as you know, is the sort of overriding political agenda that the European Commission has established in order to put Europe as the first carbon neutral continent by 2050. And so cities need to be part of the not only the problem, but also in the part of a driving force in helping us to develop solutions to address the challenges of the Green Deal. And these include, of course, climate, biodiversity, energy supply, industry, the built environment, pollution, transport, and many other issues. Cities will play a decisive role in enabling Europe to become a global role model in driving, in particular, the clean energy transition. Therefore, European cities and cities around the world, we hope, will engage fully in a transformation towards sustainability and climate neutrality. And in order to achieve this, research and innovation is going to be vital because the scale of the challenges that we're facing require us to develop new knowledge, to test new solutions, and to bring new approaches to transforming urban challenges into opportunities for greater sustainability. And this is where I'm confident that the future Driving Urban Transitions Partnership under Horizon Europe will play an important role, building on the many existing research and innovation activities on urban issues that the EU has supported for many years. And this is my second message, really, that the Driving Urban Transitions Partnership has huge potential to trigger systemic transition by assisting cities in designing and rolling out their plans to transition towards greater sustainability. Among other things, the partnership will in particular support the dissemination and exploitation of research results, enabling successes in one area to be replicated and scaled up in other cities around the European Union and beyond, in particular with emphasis on promoting integrated approaches to planning. The partnership will also help cities to build capacity for urban transformation processes and to enable public authorities to co-design new solutions with business, society, citizens, and infrastructure providers. So we are very encouraged that already we've heard that 20 EU member states and 24 national funding agencies are ready to take up this challenge and work with us in the new partnership. And so notwithstanding the very difficult economic situation that we're all facing, collectively, we've already received pledges of around 200 million euros coming from different partners to support the Driving Urban Transformation Implementation Plan. And this is a hugely positive signal of a collective determination to work together on this extremely important but also exciting agenda. And in order to prepare the partnership, we are ensuring close and coordinated steering from the Commission side, with 10 different Commission departments joining forces to bring the different strands of this debate together. I'd like just to take one specific example, and that's the partnership's proposed focus on positive energy districts within cities, which we hope will bring a strong contribution to the European Green Deal, as well as to the urban agenda for the European Union and our circular economy action plan. The prospect of urban areas with annual net zero energy import and net zero CO2 emissions, aiming for a surplus production of renewable energy and integrated within an urban energy systems, is an extremely exciting nexus of challenges, and really, I think, points a practical way forward towards a sustainable future. Because I think we all recognize that unsustainable urbanization is a global challenge, and building connections between European cities and with their global counterparts is going to be vital to share solutions and build capacity. So we're very encouraged to see that the partnership will be open and ready for international cooperation, building on the existing collaborations with the JPI via the Belmont Forum, the Global Covenant of Mayors, and other organizations in this space. And I think the existing work also provides the future partnership with a solid starting point to establish itself as a European hub and a reference point internationally for research and innovation on urban transitions and sustainable urbanization. And that brings me perhaps to my third message, and that is that we should look carefully at how different EU-supported activities, initiatives, and funding opportunities on urban issues can work together to build alliances, align agendas, and create beneficial synergies between them. And so with this in mind, we are keen to see that the future Driving Urban Transitions Partnership is able to carve out for itself a distinctive and results-oriented niche. And I think this fits well into the overall new approach that we've been developing for partnerships under Horizon Europe, which is designed to provide longer-term stability, compared with the present rather fragmented landscape of ERANETs and other types of partnership that we have under Horizon Europe, under Horizon 2020 today. And in particular, we want to allow co-funded partnerships to design and plan strategic and coherent plans for their implementation, featuring a longer-term perspective and better sequencing and prioritization of their activities. But already under Horizon 2020, we've invested more than 3.2 billion euros on urban research and innovation. And we hope to be able to step up this ambition even further under Horizon Europe. To start with the work program for 2021, which we are working on today, covering our Cluster 5 of Horizon Europe, that's on climate, energy and mobility, will include a call topic that is specific to the future partnership. And we hope to see also complementary collaborative research efforts within this part of the program. Another important highlight of our recent work has been the preparation of a possible Horizon Europe mission on the theme of climate neutral and smart cities. The work of the mission board, which has been supporting and preparing the concept for this future Horizon Europe mission, has come up with the inspiring goal of supporting 100 European cities in their transition to climate neutrality by 2030. And here we see a very strongly complementary relationship between the mission and the Driving Urban Transition Partnership. And we've been working hard to build practical and operational links between the two initiatives from the start. The same is true of the range of other new partnerships under Horizon Europe, many of which we hope will have a strong urban dimension, whether it's the Clean Energy Transition Partnership, the Partnership on the Built Environment, we have a Zero Emission Road Transport Partnership, as well as one on connected and automated mobility. And so I hope that many of you participating in the event today will be able to identify jointly with these partnerships areas where you can work closely together in this sort of synergetic cooperation. We will also, of course, from the start of next year and following the extremely welcome conclusion in the last days on the next 7-year budget cycle for the EU, have a number of other EU programs which will have direct relevance for our urban agenda. Whether it's programs devoted to the LIFE program in the area of the environment or investment in InvestEU, as well as a refreshed approach to the European Urban Initiative under the post-2020 cohesion policy and the European structural funds. And we would very much hope and expect that the future DUT partnership will be able to add value, complement and capitalize on the successes of these different initiatives and activities. The presence of national funding agencies also offer the Driving Europe Urban Transitions Partnership a proximity advantage to cities, stakeholders, local communities and citizens. And in the context of the recovery plans, recovery and resilience plans that are being developed as part of the national strategies for the post-COVID recovery, we think it also would be useful to see whether the partnership can be associated with the preparation of priorities for member states' national recovery and resilience activities to show the very strong and I think citizen-relevant potential of the partnership to contribute to this post-COVID transition. Very much around the themes of the green and digital transition that the Commission has set out and which member states have happily agreed. Now, I recognize, of course, that capitalizing on all that I've said and all the opportunities that face us will be very challenging and probably quite resource intensive. But we believe it will pay huge dividends for all the reasons that I've set out. So in closing these brief remarks, I wanted to wish you success in the exciting and challenging journey ahead. I believe that with the support of the European Union in particular, strongly anchored in Horizon Europe, our next framework program, we have in our hands all the necessary ingredients and expertise to mobilize funds and support and political momentum across the European Union and beyond. And in these endeavors, you can count on the continued support of the European Commission. So I very much look forward to a very fruitful and enjoyable, constructive collaboration, and I wish you success for the rest of today's event. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for that, Patrick. It's really much appreciated. I'm mindful you have to jump on for another presentation, so thank you very much for being able to join us. And we're delighted that your colleague Christos Fragakis, who's the Deputy Head of Unit for the our Research and Innovation Unit, can join. I know, Christos, you'll be particularly focused in answering questions around the research and innovation on the urban topic rather than anything more broader about the policy and politics and that side. But thank you for being able to join us, Christos. Much appreciated.
It's a great pleasure. Good afternoon to all of you, to our audience. I wish I was, physically being present there, being able to see all of them. But anyway, we have to cope with that. James, no, you can raise whatever question. If I cannot answer them, then I will skip it. I will try to answer as many as possible. But if I don't, because you can imagine that there are many, many policies across the Commission. Many of them I don't have in-depth knowledge. So go ahead, raise the question, and then we will see. I will try to answer them.
Well, that's perfect. That's a wonderful opportunity, I think, for the hundreds of attendees to be able to put your questions in the chat function, and we'll be able to have some Q&A. We will. There's another breakout session that will be starting shortly. So while we have you here, Christos, can I start off? Patrick referenced the fact that under the Horizon 2020 program, the budget which is just closing, there was about 3.2 billion invested by the Commission in this sort of urban landscape. But then with the DUTs talking about 200 million that's being pledged by the partners for this topic. How does that work, and what sort of sums are you looking for in this particular area around urban development in transition in transport for the next cycle, for the Horizon Europe cycle from 2021 to 2027?
Yeah. Well, first of all, to these 3.2 billions that Patrick mentioned, we have to add another 57 millions, quite a significant amount of money for a Green Deal call that is still within Horizon 2020. That means the X framework program. And that is to accelerate, or to kick off, if you like, the activities for the Green Deal. And one of the topics there, they have 8 topics. They address the 8 work streams of the Green Deal. One of them is on the smart cities and socially innovative cities. So it's very much, the subject of the DUT. And one of the activities of interest to the DUT will be the establishment of a one-stop shop platform to assist the cities in order to come forward with their climate neutrality plans. So DUT, with the knowledge that they have and the outreach capacity that they have, I believe that they can play a very, very important role in going to the cities and try, to give them whatever expertise they need in order to design these climate neutrality plans and then to implement them as well. So it's then there is a strong complementarity between Horizon Europe specific collaboration topics and DUT. DUT, first of all, they has a fantastic contribution in aligning research, national research and innovation agendas. So they add, if you like, to whatever EU budget it is for research and innovation on urban issues. Now, through co-funding that, so Horizon Europe will pay 30% on whatever pledges the member states they make, and we will try to make sure that DUT takes stock and capitalize on the breakthroughs that are made through the traditional Horizon Europe calls, and vice versa. The traditional projects, if you like, funded under the normal Horizon Europe calls, they can take advantage of the outreach capacity, of the dissemination capacity of the DUT to communicate, to disseminate their results to the cities, to the urban actors. So this kind of symbiosis, very harmonious one, mutual reinforcing one another, we hope that is going to enhance the overall impact of the EU-funded research.
Okay, that's very helpful. And I suppose one of the issues is, we tend to think of European cities and European sort of policy making in this area as being globally relevant. How do you think that, the particularities of European cities, which tend to be slightly smaller, and then a few, metropolises of the very big scale, how does it compare to Africa or Asia or American ones? And, with the mission that we're talking about here for Horizon Europe, do you think that the Commission is right to just focus on European ones rather than worrying about a global context of how people could look at the European way of life as well?
To be quite honest, we are not focusing only on European cities. Of course, the majority of the fund will go to Europe for evident reasons. It's the European taxpayers' money, if you like, that provides the funding. So naturally, but let's not forget that the EU Research and Innovation Framework Program is open for participation to all countries around the world.
Interesting.
And then, countries from middle and low income, they have eligibility to get funding from EU sources. It's only rich countries like US, for example, Japan, China, etc. They have to use their own resources. But the rest of them, like CELAC countries, African countries, etc., they can participate as full partners, provided, of course, that they make a contribution to the overall research and innovation objective of the project, and then receive even funding from EU funding. So we want to make sure that our cities are globally connected. We feel that that is very, very important because at the end of the day, global urbanization, as Patrick said, is a global challenge. I believe that we have to learn, we have to teach, to give lessons to them. And also through those collaborations, we open markets for whatever European approaches our research and innovation develops. So it is a win-win situation, and that's why we strongly encourage international collaboration. And then I'm very, very happy to see that DUT is very, very open to international collaboration, as Margit said, and they have, of course, a strong tradition through GPI Urban Europe in establishing international collaboration with, Berman Forum, China, and many other countries, CELAC as well. So it's not. We do want European cities to act as role models to those cities. If it is possible to export our expertise know-how to create a market, a global market. And that's why we feel that EU-funded research can play a strong role in promoting this type of collaboration.
Wow, very helpful. Thank you, Crystal. That's really good that global mandate and mission is still open to other people to hopefully learn from and benefit, and vice versa on this program. And just a quick reminder to people that Jonas back in the foyer in different breakout sessions is running through some of the concepts between the 3 breakout rooms, which will follow this Q&A. So he'll be wrapping that up in about 3 minutes. So if you do want to join the start of the breakout session, that will begin in about 3 minutes or so. So perhaps there's a final question, Christos, here. The Horizon Europe budget has been called a Green Deal. Obviously, we've heard a little bit about how much has been invested, as we just talked about, for Horizon 2020, the past program. There's been a lot of talk, and Patrick referenced the fact that, I think the council has only just signed off an extra 4 billion to the overall Horizon Europe program. How much of that do you hope will go through to the urban part of the research and innovation landscape, or how much will it be called in different areas by, say, the European Innovation Council, which is trying to support excellence in startups? So, how much of it is that you've got the things that you wanted to in the budget, and how much are you still now having to go, okay, we know broadly how much the pie will be. Now we have to argue for our bits of the pie, if you see what I mean. Where does urban fall in that pie eating competition?
Quite a lot, for a very simple reason that cities being multidimensional, many urban-related research and innovation is going to be addressed across Horizon Europe. So even under the cluster on health, cluster on security, industry and digitization, even the biodiversity, forestry, etc. So all clusters somehow they will have, to a greater or lesser extent, some city dimension. So now, precisely how much will go to the urban to the urban context, that cannot be anticipated, beforehand. Then we have to see, if you like, what kind of proposals they will come through. Then let's not forget that we have at least 6 European partnerships, like the DUT, that they will address urban issues. So that will be complemented with additional national contributions. So if under Horizon 2020 we spend 3.2 billions, I believe that is going to be much more under Horizon Europe. First of all, because Horizon Europe is a bigger program overall, that is, and then because the city dimension is much higher in the political agenda as well. We know by now that unless cities engage, there is no chance that the EU will fulfill the commitments to international, to the Paris Agreement, to SDGs, or to Green Deal. So there will be an extra effort made to make sure that enough money goes to urban research and innovation to assist cities in their transitions and transformations.
Perfect. Well, that's really helpful, and it's very exciting, that urban and cities is higher up the political agenda for obvious reasons, given where most people live, but also the fact that it's going to be so impactful across all of the different pockets and parts of the budget. So, Christos, thank you so much for being able to join us. We'll now let people...
Thank you very much indeed, James.
Thank you. Speak soon.